All right. We are so excited to have Viktoria Hamma here with us. And we are announcing our newest Sweet Sobriety course, which is about circadian rhythms and red light therapy. So I'm hoping you will introduce yourself and why did you get interested in this? And also why it might be an important piece for somebody's food addiction recovery, maybe just somebody's relationship with food and or sleep too.
hmm Thank you. So I'm Victoria. If I haven't met you guys yet, welcome. And so I wear a lot of different hats, but I feel like they all come together. So I started as a massage therapist, and then I became a hypnotherapist. And then most recently, on top of all the mini courses I like to do, because I love education, I recently just finished my course in quantum biology. And so it's interesting because those three things sound super different, but they really are all aligned. And I've done courses in the past with Sweet Sobriety, talking about the subconscious mind and food, and we've done some stuff with sleep. Um, I also do a lot of stuff with red light therapy. And I mean, technically, the formal word for that is photobiomodulation for all those people who like the technical terms, don't we all? But what's interesting is that piece also has, prior to even doing quantum biology, that piece had a lot to talk about metabolism and the way that our cells are creating energy. And I really saw like it's such a low hanging fruit to help people because at the end of the day, like when you're trying to heal, recover from anything, whether it's pain, emotional, trauma, just relationship with addiction of any kind, it's a lot of energy. It's exhausting mentally and physically and emotionally, and we'll say spiritually. So I really found that something like red light therapy that is focused on helping your metabolism, helping you create cellular energy, can be adapted and really used in so many ways in recovery. But then I layered on this quantum biology piece, which was really cool because it really tied together so many pieces that I had already learned and had educated myself in. And they talked a lot about circadian rhythms, amongst other things. And I think, again, circadian rhythms is such a low hanging fruit. It's something that you can add into your lifestyle and to what you're doing with really minimal effort, but have really big results.
Mm.
And so that's where I felt like we don't need to give people another 20-minute routine because that's hard. Like, I'm sorry, but like I'm busy and I'm kind of lazy sometimes and I'm exhausted sometimes. So I don't want to, whenever I'm trying to find modalities and things for people, it's really focused on like what can they practically add to their lifestyle that actually has the biggest bang for their buck. And
Mm.
that's where I feel like both red light therapy and circadian rhythms was so huge. And they work so well together that I was like, well, I just need to tell more people about this. And because I know the work that Clarissa and Molly do with Sweet Sobriety, I was like, it actually is such a great fit for this group that is tired from all the recovery stuff they have to do all the time. And I love to give them more tools that will not only support the work they're already doing, but make them really understand what their body is doing without feeling stressed about all the stuff. So I know that in the course I talk about how it is sciencey. I want to reassure you guys that like it's not too sciencey that like you need a PhD to understand it. Definitely not. I do my best to break it down into a lot of pieces, but there's a purpose to that as well. I really like to I want to empower you with the information about your body. I don't want to just be another professional that tells you what to do and you blindly listen and do it. Because at the end of the day, that still can be helpful, but it's not empowering and it's not helping you actually understand what's happening in your body, why you should care about what's happening in your body, and understanding when you're looking at different modalities or things that work for you, how it's either working with your biology or with your psychology and how it might not be.
Okay, I love that. So we did get a few questions, and I'm wondering if we can just have you respond to them. So one of them was, is this too sciencey? And I love that you answered that because I think even when you hear the word like quantum biology or what, I'm already intimidated. Like it feels like Star
Yes.
Trekky kind of stuff.
And if I'm honest, like yes, quantum biology, it was a lot of cellular science at a very small scale, but the overall application of that is really simple, which is what I actually really love. So, yes, a little bit of the science is confusing, but we don't get into the really hardcore stuff that you need to have your cell biology. You get the nuts and bolts that are applicable, and words like insulin and glucose that you're already probably familiar with. I add a few more inflammatory, cytokines, words like that, but it's all really repetitive enough and sequential enough that you'll see the flow throughout.
Yeah, and I do think sometimes for some people it's really important to understand why I'm doing this, right? Not just like listening to and like obeying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so another one of the questions we got is, do I have to like own a red light therapy device in order to take this course?
Definitely not. I added red light therapy in there, obviously, because I do have so many people asking a lot of questions about red light therapy because it's kind of trending right now. So
Hmm.
I think it's important that people understand like what it actually is, what it does. Now, what's interesting is the sun itself gives off red and infrared. So a lot of the things that we talk about, you can do naturally without a red light therapy pad. I think that red light is like supplementation. So how we in Canada, at least, we take sometimes vitamin D in the winter because we just can't get the sun as much and we can't get as much vitamin D. So we supplement. So I really do feel like this is light supplementation for your body. So there are reasons that, or times in your life where you might use it more or less. And for some people, they might not need it at all. But I think it's still really helpful. So then when somebody is also talking to you about red light and telling you why it's so important, you already have some foundational knowledge and you can decide for yourself and your recovery whether it actually fits into your plan.
Okay. And I had noticed the course is in two different parts. Is it required for me to take part one before part two, or can I take them individually?
So I would definitely do part one first. You don't even have to take part two if you take what part one, and because there's still a lot of stuff you can get from it. I just recognized that there's a lot of information, so I didn't want to just bombard everybody with all of it. I feel like it's really more digestible if we use part one first. We understand like the simpler mechanisms and the flow. And for those people, maybe that's it. And that's all they need. And they're like, great, I'm on board. I understand. I'm going to implement. That's all I need. For some people, though, they're going to want more in depth and more nuance and everything else. And so for those people, that's really what part two is for. So when you want to get in depth, or you're like, well, I really want to tweak what I'm doing to be even more effective, more of those biohacker type of
Yeah.
people. That's what I designed part two for. So it talks a lot more and it will answer a lot more of those in-depth questions, which is also why I still left the Q&A open. So
Hmm.
that's people's opportunity to, if there's something I didn't cover or there's a nuance or a specific question, there's an opportunity for us to kind of discuss that.
Okay. And so we just want to remind everyone that these are going to be the second part is going to be live, but it'll also be recorded. If you wouldn't be able to attend, you could certainly like email some questions ahead of time that you might be able to answer in the Q&A.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, because again, there's going to be specific scenarios that people are like, well, in my life or where I live or what I'm eating or what I'm they're going to have a specific question. And so, yeah, I'm happy to answer those for people because it is confusing when you start to add all the layers and all the nuance. And I like to just simplify it so that you feel empowered in the decisions and choices you're making when you're implementing it into your plan and
Yeah.
you don't feel like you're worried you might do the wrong thing.
Awesome. So essentially, right now, the audience could buy both part one and part two, watch it, rewatch it, and then the live Q&A session is going to be July 24th at 5 p.m. Eastern, which is a Friday.
Yes, I'm very excited. So, and again, I think that I really focused on giving you enough information so that you feel empowered in adding this into your lifestyle and your choices right away and understand why it's important. But then there's enough for people who are like, okay, I already kind of heard about that. I already kind of know that. What can I do now to kind of level up or like add even more specificity into my program?
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Vika, for being here. And I look forward to seeing you on July 24th.
Thanks, guys.
If you like what you heard today, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.